Now, educating the world's children is a very timely topic and discussion, and so too are the tips and the tools for imparting that education during the COVID-19 pandemic. The Trinidad and Tobago Diaspora Association Network, or TTDAN, is hosting a webinar to help you enlarge your toolkit in this regard. And we're very grateful to have Laura Semper-Scott and June Alleyne-Griffin. They are leaders or on the leadership team, and they are here to tell us more. So, hello, ladies. Thank you so much for being here. And I'll start with you, please, Laura, asking for a short overview of TTDAN.
Not here.
Laura, hello. Can you give me a little
Yes,
info?
I'm hearing somebody else.
Oh, no. A brief background of TTDAN from you. Thank you.
Sure. Thank you for having us. TTDAN is a conglomerate of associations, civic and alumni associations based in Washington, D.C. and across this area. So it includes Bishop Anstey High School, Naparima Girls, Presentation, St. Mary's, all of those schools, and then civic associations in Delaware, Baltimore, and Washington, D.C. So that's us in a nutshell, working together to reach back to Trinidad and Tobago.
Thank you for that nutshell. June, I will go to you asking about the gaps that you saw and the reason for this webinar that is happening on the 4th and the 5th of August, which is Tuesday and Wednesday this week.
Thank you, Dike. We were concerned about the rapid transition that the education system had to make to respond to the COVID pandemic when schools were shut down. So we thought it very important to provide some sort of assistance in the form of building awareness and a better understanding of the online learning environment, as well as various aspects of blended learning. The key gap we saw was that some students may be left behind unless we look at teaching and learning in a comprehensive way, drawing on the resources of the community as well as technology.
Now, with that in mind, though, and that sounds like a mouthful, but even more so, the core agenda. So, Laura, I'll ask you to take me through some of the topics, some of the issues that will be covered over this 2-day period.
Certainly. It's going to be an experience pretty much modeling what should be happening in an online environment. So we're going to have an overview of why this is important. We will focus on the principles of online learning, how it differs radically from the classroom learning. And then the real deal comes in when we start to talk about learner engagement, interaction, how do you assess, how do you work with children at different levels, because they've been out for 5 months. So there's going to be a lot of slippage, and so we will focus on that. There's also going to be a special piece for parents and teachers and just the community. How do you cope with the anxiety of the pandemic and the anxiety of transitioning to a new learning environment? That's pretty much it. All of the nuts and bolts about using technology, not all, but a basic introduction of some trusted do's and don'ts. Now that we've gone through the emergency situation back in March, now we have to look ahead with intentional planning, and that's what this is about, equipping teachers for the intentional planning, ongoing planning for online and blended learning.
No, I hear equipping teachers. Now, June, who do you have this in mind for? Because I hear teachers, but at the same time, there are parents at home, or there are parents with their children at home who may not be ready to have them re-enter the traditional school system. So who's the target grouping for this webinar?
The target group includes teachers, school principals, vice principals, the whole administrative system in schools. We also hope to get some of the guidance counselors on board, as well as the parents and others in community who support education. So the key is persons involved, the community, because educating the child is about engaging the entire, beyond the school system, engaging the entire community. So we're hoping that all the various stakeholders, those who develop software for kids, all those are present or do at some time participate in this sort of information sharing.
Now, I see there's an email address, TTDAN, which is ttdan.org@gmail.com. How do people join the webinar? How do people become a part of it?
Easily, well, TTDAN has a Facebook page, so you can go there, or you can type in 21st Century Teaching and Learning. We are all over every platform, so we'll see it on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. I know I've posted it. So if you look me up, Lauren Semper-Scott on LinkedIn, you will see it on my LinkedIn profile. I know June posted it on her LinkedIn profile, and it's public, so anybody can access it. 21st Century Teaching and Learning in Trinidad and Tobago, you will find us.
Okay, is there anybody that you're working with on the ground? Well, I say on the ground even though it's a virtual event, but seeing that it's for children, individuals in Trinidad and Tobago, is there anybody in Trinidad and Tobago that you're working with?
I can take that. Yes, actually, we have one independent consultant who works with special needs and working with children at different levels. That's Miss Kids Cadet. She works with schools in the Methodist system. And then one of our other presenters he is resident in Nebraska, but he comes back to Trinidad every 2 years or 2 or 3 times a year, and that's Dr. Bowler. He has been working in teaching and testing. So while we are resident out here, many of us have been back, and June comes back to Trinidad regularly. So there are a couple of people on the ground, and then others are out here, but regular returnees to the native land.
Well, we want to thank you so much, ladies, and hopefully you will be regular returnees to this program so that we can have future conversations about the work that is being done that is very necessary at this point in time. Dr. Laura Semper-Scott and June Alleyne-Griffin of TTDAN. The webinar is on tomorrow, the 4th, and August the 5th. And please avail yourself of the work that is happening.